Oh. Are you on?
No, I can't. No.
Come on.
I'm like,
He's
just
got
out of the car.
He's been sitting in traffic for an hour.
You haven't had a settler yet.
We on?
My lover's got no fame, he's got his strong beliefs.
it's nice
My
and casual.
lover's got no
I need
money,
a settler.
he's got his strong beliefs.
Cousin.
One more and more.
you
People
notice
just want more and more
Melbourne
freedom and
team
love.
have used this
Yes.
this week?
Yeah,
They definitely stole that off us.
Yeah,
Sure.
they
Cozzy's on fire post.
Yeah, they took it from us.
Yeah.
Their one was pretty good though. It was like, what was it? He's kicked 3.
Yeah.
Cause he's kicked 3.
Your defense is terrified, cause he's on fire. Your defense is terrified, cause he's on fire. Your defense is terrified, and cause he's on fire.
Na 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 na.
He's playing unbelievable footy.
All right, I reckon we cut the song now.
Yeah, we can cut it, Derek. Didn't really have the impact.
Yeah. You need me after work when I've
No,
had
I
a
think we
couple
just
of
need you
settlers.
end of the pod.
Yeah.
End of the pod?
I don't know. See how we're feeling.
Yeah, okay. I know you've had a big trip. Big trip to get here, but welcome to the official, unofficial podcast of the Melbourne Demons, the DeeBrief. Adrian Horton, Matt Adams, Sam Adams in the house. It's a big, big week. Carlton coming up against our beloved D's, and they're on a tear, and they're excited, and they're cocky, and they're up and about. And boys, for you two and all your cuzzies, this is a big, big deal. So what does it mean to your families? Because you're pretty much split down the middle, Melbourne Carlton, aren't you?
We are. It's sort of like the family showdown.
It's been
Mum's one of 9 children.
Yep. One of 9.
One of 9. We got 26 cousins on one side, and I reckon it's pretty close to an even split down the middle. There's one black sheep family who goes for Collingwood,
and a few Hawthorn.
a couple of Hawthorn, but most of them are either Melbourne or Carlton.
Wow.
And yeah, I think it's always just been one of those games that we've looked at as a bit of a family rivalry. In the last 10 years, we've sort of formalised it a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a great 10 years for us too, really.
Yeah, and in those 10 years, we're probably well ahead in the ledger. So yeah, they're probably looking to get a scalp on Saturday night. It's been a long time coming, and I feel like they reckon they're a pretty good shot.
7 in a row. Like I am worried about them just purely on form.
Yeah.
Like I know, like our team on paper and Clary coming back in is better than what they're. You know, they have Walsh out, Chair out. Mackay's still out as well. I think there's a few others.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it still does just scare me. Like momentum's huge in football, and they're like riding a bit of a wave, and they're actually like pumping teams too. Like they haven't they're the opposite to us. They're having chill wins, and we're just never really having chill wins. Like even against North, it wasn't chill. We were getting smashed in the first half.
Yeah,
but we'll probably still win.
Yeah, I think you're right. They are in a rich vein of form. And they've all just bought in. Like, there's so much trust in the group. They're selfless. They're tough as well. Like, their clearance game has been awesome. And that's what we're really good at as well. So from a contested clearance point of view, our numbers have skyrocketed probably because of Jack Viney putting the team on his back, and Angus Brayshaw's come along for the ride. And then Track and what he's been able to do forward of centre has helped us with our connection issues. And then I'm really glad that Lee Montagna brought this up last night on AFL 360. Chandler, Pickett and Neil Bullen, who I've been saying are like a mini barometer for us, have finally found their form again. And they've been awesome. So as much as it's like Carlton are the firebrand at the moment, and they're playing super exciting footy, and they are pumping teams, as you've said, Adzy, Melbourne have just been quietly and diligently just fixing up issues in their game. Max Gawn's form has come back. If anything, the only thing you can probably put a finger on that we haven't improved and we need some work on is what's been our hallmark in the last 3 years, and that's our defence. So I'm really content with where we're at, because the one element of our game that I think we can flick the switch with and get back to our best is actually becoming really hard to score against. And that's what I hope we do this week. Like, let's put that blueprint in place, no pun intended, that we did against them earlier in the season, where we just took all their run and carry away, all their strengths away. They wanted speed on the ball, and we didn't give it to them the whole entire game. Yes, it was an ugly win, but I think we've almost just got to do the same thing this week. Like, make it ugly, because if we get into a shootout, I think that's probably a scenario that we don't want.
Yeah, remember last week we spoke about different modes, and we've seemed to have gone into the attacking mode and defend less, attack more. Whereas throughout the year, throughout the middle of the year, when we weren't playing so well, we still had a really good defense, which probably kept us in a lot of games maybe that we shouldn't have been in. So it'll be interesting. I still think May is a little bit off. Like
Same.
he had a really good game against St Kilda. He's obviously a gun, but he just
still
looks a bit
keeping plays
slow.
to like
Sorry?
minimal goals though. Like he kept lucky
I
to
know,
one goal.
I know, but he hasn't been as mercurial. I think he's probably still
Yeah.
doing a really good job on his direct man. But I don't know. I think you're right, 80. I think it's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see how we approach the game, and if it's a all out attack, like we have against sort of Adelaide and Brisbane and those sorts of teams, or if we sort of go back to our Collingwood style and just set up as well as we can defensively across the whole ground.
I think we should, and I think we almost have to, because we need to respect this opponent. They are chock full of confidence. From the back half, they love rebounding. Players like Doherty and Newman in particular, they love intercepting and running off their man. And then as soon as they win that ball in that dangerous area at half back, they just go. In a similar way that we do, and we've been really good at scoring from D50, but I think even though we've won 8 in a row against them, and historically we've got the wood over them, we've got the mental edge over them, like this is a different Carlton. We need to treat them with respect.
I think that works well for us though. Like we seem to be a team, and like you saw it against North on the weekend, that we started slow. And like I feel like, and we've talked about it before, we sort of seem to play to the level of our opponent. Like the Brisbane game as well, like we showed up. So I reckon we will show up on Saturday. They all know how big it is for us and for Carlton, but for us, it's for a top 2 position. And generally, in the last 3 years, when we find ourselves in these positions, we've always made sure that
we've got big
we've
game
the
players
points.
as well. Like Petrarca loves the big games, as we know, and
Clayton Oliver.
we haven't spoken about someone coming back yet, which I'm sure we'll have a fair bit of a chat around later. But I hope the whole team gets a massive lift out of that redhead who's coming back into the side, and just like imagine guys like Judd McVie and even Bowie and the guys that haven't played that much with him, but getting him back in the side will hopefully give everyone a big lift from the most inexperienced all the way up to the senior guys.
Definitely. And teams are going to be out in about 15, 20 minutes, but we should just speak about him.
Yes.
So Clary,
Yeah.
you're wearing the merch.
Yep.
You've got
I think it's the first time I've worn merch in this year.
That's
Was
fantastic.
that 2021 t-shirt or last year?
This was a flag one.
Yeah, flag ones.
So for those listening, it's the Clary t-shirt. He's got his
His hair's flailing.
He's mid-stride, about to do a bullet kick into the forward. Is it the bang, bang, bang
no.
scenario?
No, it was before we won the flag.
Yeah.
But it was that same year.
But he looks glorious.
He looks great.
Yeah, he looks awesome. Adzy, he has a special place in your heart. For most Melbourne supporters, let's be honest, if not every single Melbourne supporter, we all love him. But especially for yourself, like you've spoken about him consistently, you love him to bits. He's your clear favourite, Demon. And that's big because there are obviously a lot of incredible footballers running around the red and blue at the moment. But Clary running back on the MCG on Saturday night, like what's that going to feel like
tears.
for you?
It's tears.
It's tears.
No, and I'm sure I speak for the majority of Melbourne supporters here. It's going to be so good just having him back in the team. Like the impact that he has, and even for the players like Viney, who's pretty much carried us in a way, him and Track over the last 10 weeks. It's just going to be a huge impact for them. Like the confidence that they'll get out of him coming back and just having that one less sort of opponent, or maybe getting the second or third midfielder on them. It's going to be huge. And then we have the luxury of Track probably spending even more time forward now if we need him to. If Clary's just straight in the middle, it's the biggest in I've ever seen. So pretty excited for it.
It's been 10 weeks, or has it 10 weeks? So
It's been a long time.
When was it?
I
It was
mean,
in May, I think, when he last played. It was against Port.
round 10, yeah. You don't forget how good he is, but you get used to the makeup of the team without him. So like we've seen the last month, especially Viney go to another level. Brayshaw's been unbelievable. Even Sparrow was injured a couple of weeks ago, but he's back in. He's played his role in his absence. Like they've all stepped up, but you just don't take an ace out of a pack. And I can't wait to see him go back in there, and hopefully they still maintain the rage and they function well. I saw some article on the AFL app today saying, are they actually better without Clayton Oliver? Like, spare me. He's probably the best pure midfielder in the competition when he's up and going. And his first 10 rounds, we said before, his first 10 rounds were exceptional. Yeah. He's probably going to be close to leading the Brownlow after 10 rounds, I would have thought.
I thought that article was dumb on a couple of fronts. It doesn't reflect Max Gawn's influence in recent weeks.
True.
He's gone to another level. It doesn't also reflect what Jack Viney's been able to do because he's gone absolutely berserk. And then probably the other thing is just the fact that we were really going through the motions in that first half of the year anyway. Like even some of those wins before we got to 7-2, we weren't really firing on all cylinders. And we knew that the tougher tests would come against Port and Collingwood. And I think those articles are really funny to me because it just is a complete and utter disregard for everything that's happened since he's been out of the team. And if anything, and if I was the Melbourne coaching staff, the fact that we've been able to roll Brayshaw through there, Viney's done his thing, Jimmy Jordan and Sparrow have been really serviceable as well. Riv Dog, Cozzie's gone in there. We've been able to push track forward. Like, if I'm the coaching staff, like, I would be telling Clary, you don't need to be the hero, even though he's going to go out there and he's going to be ballistic, as we know. But simplify your game. Make sure that you've got trust in your teammates. You don't have to see ball, get ball. Like Viney can go in and get it. You can sit on the outside and you can actually be the kicker going inside 50. Similar thing with Brayshaw. Like hold your width. You don't always have to go in there and chase it. And it actually might work out better for us because the one thing about Clayton Oliver, which I've thought we should do more often, is try and get the ball in his hands from a handball received. Because when he's streaming inside 50, the one area of his game that he's cleaned up considerably in the last 3 years is his kicking. Like I reckon Choco Williams, out of all the players that you can make a case for, he's cleaned his kicking skills up more than anyone else. I've been so impressed with his field kicking. And that was a massive blot in his copybook. You look back to 2019, like he was just bombing it in. And it was just hack kicking and he wasn't thinking about it and he wasn't being considered. So I think if anything, what we've learnt with Clayton Oliver out is we've got some serious midfield weapons that can just go and do the same job. Let's try and exploit those other strengths of Clayton Oliver.
I mean, for the rest of the comp, it's pretty scary having him come back, seeing the midfield sort of strength that we've had over the last month. And I don't know if either of you saw the doorstop interview that he had a couple of nights ago. He was really short. He seemed really to treat the media with a bit of disdain. Like he really seemed like he wasn't up for it. He was giving one-word answers. Maybe I'll be back. Don't know. Not sure. Yeah, but I reckon maybe a part of that is that he's not happy with a lot of the commentary that's been happening over the last 10 weeks. And part of me really hopes that he comes in and he just reminds everyone of like how good he is. Because there's all this chat about him and his off-field behaviour. And if I'm him, like, and he probably doesn't really interact with the media too much or read much of it, but he would have heard snippets of it. And if I'm him, I'm like, I want to go out there and really just remind people of how good I am. So I wouldn't be surprised if he came out and he was best on ground, to be honest.
It's 35.
Yeah.
And also, like, just back to your point, I don't know, like, you can't tell a bull not to be a bull sort of thing. It's that's just the way he plays. He's not going to sit on the outside.
He won't change anything.
Yeah, he's going to go in and he'll be the Clayton Oliver that we know.
People will adapt around him.
And exactly. And then you will have other runners around him, but he's not going to sit on the outside.
I do just hope that we get the balance right because the mix seems really good at the moment. It sounds ridiculous, and I'm probably being pedantic and it'll all work out, but there is just a part of me that thinks the balance is really good at the moment. And it'll probably
might affect the juju, are you saying?
Well, it'll probably be good, but I just,
it might take him a few to work.
I reckon if anything, he might just get reduced minutes. Like
he probably needs to.
Because we know that, Viney is in amazing form. Track can go through, Cozzy can go through the midfield. Like, if we're playing well, you can almost play him for like 60, 65% of the game and just get a game through him, and he'll probably still have like 40 touches. But like,
Huge. My wife was like, "Do you reckon he'll go back through the VFL?" And I just laughed out aloud. I was like,
he's never
absolutely.
playing
He's
a game
never
of
gonna play
VFL
in
in his
VFL.
life
No.
again. Has he even ever played one? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
No, I think he came in for round 1, 2016.
He's never looked back. It's
First
just whether
game,
he played
yeah.
one before that, and I'm not sure. But
I don't know.
I don't
if
think
he's-
so.
I don't know if he's ever played for Casey.
What's the in your eyes? What's the starting centre bounce lineup? I know Cozzy might go in there for the first
Well,
one.
he
'cause
has
he's been
to.
doing
So
that.
Cozzy's
Okay, maybe the second one then. So who goes in after Cozzy? Is it Oliver, Max, Viney, and Brayshaw? Does
Yep.
Brayshaw stay in the middle?
100%.
Okay.
I think Brayshaw continues. Cozzy, just the side note is it's 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Centre bounces
So
at the
good.
first one. When he did it again on Sunday, like I was just laughing with my little brother. We were just like, this
He's-
is ridiculous.
His goals at the
I
moment
know.
are fucked as well. Like there was that one that got nominated for goal of the year,
Yeah.
which was unbelievable on the boundary. But I honestly like the other one on Zeeble better.
The ankle
Like,
breaker.
The ankle
was
breaker.
amazing.
It's just like he does stuff that no one else can do. And like even like you're watching it on TV and you know what he's going to do. Like he can sort of you know he's going to take him on, but it must just be so scary being an opponent. Like it'd be so hard to defend.
Zeeble must have been like, "Thank God I'm retiring."
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. The thing I love about when Anthony Hudson's commentating, he loves Cozzy. Like you can just tell. Like when Cozzy gets the ball and he does all that crazy shit, he just lights up. He's like, "What a star!"
Yeah. He's
Like, he
also
just
just
loves
one
him.
touch too. Like
Yeah.
in any conditions.
Oh.
He just scoops it up.
Have you noticed how many goals he kicks on his left?
Yes.
As well? They're all left foot snaps. And
Yeah.
even that little shimmy and then the bullet pass he did to set up track goal
I thought that was the best thing.
a left foot bullet.
Yeah, his skills are nuts.
Yeah.
He's on fire. It's so good to see. It's such a massive weapon leading into September. So many opposition teams talk about Max Gawn. So I'm such a nuffy. I go on the opposition forums like during the week. Didn't go on North's because why the fuck would you? But I like going on there and seeing what the commentary is and which players they're talking about. Sometimes I'll be sitting in bed and Fee's like, "What are you looking at?" And I'm like, "Nothing. Just another forum." She's like, "Fuck, you're a geek." And I went on Carlton's this week on Big Footy because that's where the most traction was. And like so many people talk about Max Gawn. Like it is ridiculous. But the other player that got spoken about quite a bit and they're always scared of is Cozzy.
Yeah. Well, he broke their heart last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd have massive PTSD with Cozzy.
Oh,
Again, it's like, even when we played him earlier in the year, was that a night game or a day game?
It was not.
It was night, yeah. Because I was just thinking, like,
Friday
the fact that
night,
it's an
yeah.
middle of August game,
Yeah.
a night game, they pretty much need one win to secure their finals. They'll be shitting bricks.
absolutely. So it's funny you say that, and I wanted to mention it tonight. So I went into the office for the first time since I've been back from the trip, and I sit next to a great man, Brett Sandler. I'll give him a shout out. Lovely bloke and very well loved at the organisation, and he is a diehard Carlton fan. Absolute diehard. Just loves them to bits. It's always on his mind, and I guess in a similar way that we're always talking about the D's every day. And the first thing when I came back in and saw him, I was like, "Mate, I left and you guys were like 15th." And he's like, "I know." And I'm like, "What is going on?" And he was just like, "Mate, I can't believe it. I'm in complete and utter disbelief, blah, blah, blah." But he said, "We're not there yet." And he goes, "The annoying and worrying thing," and I didn't even realise this, but last year when we played them, it was Saturday the 13th of August. We're going to play them Saturday the 12th of August. It's the exact same round. So even though we've got an extra round, we play them round 22. We played them round 22 last year. And he's like, "I can't stop thinking about when you guys beat us late with that Cozzy goal and it potentially unraveling our season and we end up missing out on finals." He's like, "It's giving me nightmares and it's giving me all those bad feelings that they had last year." So he said as much as he's enjoying this 7-game tear, and they're all loving it, and fair play. Like
Job's not done.
the job is not done. And I said to him, I said, "Look, I don't have any hatred for Carlton. I actually quite like them. There's not really a rivalry between the two teams. There never really has been because we've been so shit for the past 20, 25 years, bar our last, 5 or so years." And I said to him, I said, "I can't help it, but there's a small part of me that just hopes we put you on eggshells
Yeah.
and like beat you. And then it comes down to the last round."
Hopefully, but at the same time, it's like, as you said, like I think all the Carlton supporters, they know that it's not done. Like they got their hopes up last year, and like that would have been absolutely shattering for them. Like we've been through a similar thing.
We've been there.
I think they'll play finals.
Same.
Like they should. They deserve to.
Yeah. They've got Gold Coast after us away.
But then they have finished with GWS.
GWS at home. So
Yeah.
both aren't.
Both.
not
They should
givens.
beat the Gold Coast, but GWS will be a tough game. Obviously, we're a tough game. But yeah, just for Carlton, like they do have a bit of a soft spot for me,
Yeah.
just for our family. Like, and
Mum goes for
So
them.
basically, I want to see us win a flag on the G, and then if this is next year and we've won the flag, they're one of the teams that I'd like to see sort of rise up. Like they've been through a lot of shit. They sort of resemble us a lot as well. They're sort of following the same path.
Yeah.
And they're getting a fair bit better now. They've got good defense, good forwards. They've got a gun midfield when they're all fit. They will be really good, but they would have demons, definitely.
Don't forget this. This is, again, it's really eerie because I reckon you've hit the nail on the head about their pathway. And I was actually thinking about this week as well. In 2017, in Goodwin's first season,
Just missed out.
just missed the finals, finished ninth, right? Getting knocked out at the final hurdle. Not in the exact same way, but pretty much carbon copies, right? And then this year, like we rose up to 5th in 2018.
Made the prelim.
Made a prelim. I've got a strange feeling that Carlton, they're going to get there and they're going to do a similar thing.
They'll shake it up, definitely. If
Yeah.
they make finals, they'll...
If they
Like
get
they're-
their team back, they've got 6 starting 18 players out.
They'll be,
Yep.
and this is a year where I feel like it's so close to competition. It could be one of those years where a team outside the top 4 can go. Like I'm not saying they will win the premiership, like potentially, but there could be a team that could easily make prelim, grand final outside the 4. It's just one of those years, and especially like Port is sort of crawling to the line, almost doing a little bit of what we did at the end of last year.
True.
They're young. Like to be honest, I don't think they're like a massive threat anymore. And then who knows with Collingwood, like it'll be really interesting to see them this week. I still think they're obviously amazing. They're a really good team, but Dacos out, he's their quarterback. They'll struggle to obviously, they can't replace him, but yeah, I'll be really interested to see them against Geelong this week. I think that's a massive danger game for them. And then if we win and Pies lose tomorrow night, we're only a game behind them for first. So
They've got Brizzy next week.
and then they've got Brizzy, and also I love that that's not at the G. It's on it's on Marvel, which I think works in Brisbane's favour.
They're
a little
7
bit
of the last 8 there. They've won.
The Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck, we're going to be going for Geelong weirdly pretty hard tomorrow, I think.
I don't want to think that far ahead. So I'm going to watch that game differently, the Collingwood Geelong game. I'm going to sit there just going, whoever wins, right? Because I really want to give ourselves the best chance of finishing top 2. And this is the game. Like, this is the only opportunity that we get. Like, we have to beat Carlton. And then you'd love to think that in Max Gawn's 200th against Hawthorn the week after, like, we'll get the job
didn't know
done
that.
for the skipper. Yep.
Jeez, it's taking him a long time to get to 200.
Yeah, but it's going to
best
be
200 games ever.
best. Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be a huge milestone and a big day out for everyone. Touch wood, he gets through this week. But, like, I mean, I'm grappling with it because this is going to sound ridiculous, but we don't have to win this one. We don't have to. But I would love to win it because it gives you even more confidence, spoke about this last week, that you've knocked off the informed team in the comp who are going gangbusters at the moment, and they've beaten Port and they've beaten Collingwood in recent weeks, and it just gives you that, again, that little bit more impetus heading into September. Then it gives you an almighty opportunity of actually going and seizing a qualifying final at home. And if we were to get that qualifying final opportunity, if it ends up being a Port, like, I mean, I don't want to sound too disrespectful, but like, I would be very, very supremely confident that we could get ourselves through to a prelim. I agree with Marker. The Lions are dangerous.
Yeah.
No matter where we play them, especially at the Gabba, but even if we play them at the MCG, they prove that they're very, very good. So that's the opportunity for us. On the flip side, it is a bigger game for Carlton. Make no mistake, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is just for them because they want to cement finals. But
Yeah.
I know it's not the be all and end all what you were saying if we lose, but winning form's good form. Like, you want to just keep rolling into September. Like, imagine if we go unbeaten now going into finals. Like, it's exactly what Geelong did last year. You don't want to drop these games. You want to beat the informed team because it shows that you're the informed team. Like, we'll go to if we win this and win it pretty well, we'll probably go to flag favourites. And then
which we don't want. I'm enjoying going under the radar a little
We're
bit.
not under the radar anymore.
But I think if we beat Carlton, like, we've been under the radar the whole year, then we'll start getting some media attention. But that's fine. There's 2 weeks to go. We know we're good. Like, Collingwood have been copying it the whole year. Like, it's all been about it's their flag. Even Port throughout the middle of the year, it was those 2 teams. They were the only 2 teams that could win it. And now, I think every year it happens, the media forget that it's a long year. And teams always pop up. Like, Geelong were nowhere halfway through last year, and then they won the flag. So
well, 6 weeks ago for us, we were just trying to get to top 4, and now all of a sudden we want to cement top 2.
Yeah.
But if you look back to last year, read this week that from round 12 last year for the 12 games leading into finals, we went 6-6. We've currently, since round 5, I think since round 12 this year, we're something like 7-2. So if we win the next 3, we go into finals 10-2. It's a big difference to 6-6. So
it's a lot better doing that than
we just got to keep going. But I think just with Carlton, they are. I don't want to use the term sleeping giant because they're definitely awakening already. Last year they had the highest attendance rate. They're a huge club. I feel like a lot of us, well, Matt and I particularly, have a soft spot for them for our own reasons, but there's a lot of people out there who hate Carlton.
Yes,
and we're like that with other big fours as well. So they're probably sitting here going, why do you want Carlton? Why do you like Carlton? We've got our reasons, but I completely get it. And I reckon once they actually start getting good and really, challenging us every time we play them and they're top 4, there'll be that moment where we're like, okay.
Yeah, we're over this now.
Yeah, we're over it now.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on that. Like, I'm much the same. Like, there's no reason for me to really hate them yet. But
it's just because they haven't been good for so long.
No, exactly. But I can feel the smugness. I can feel the arrogance coming.
That's why I win
through.
the flag this year, and then who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Winning the flag this year and seeing one at the G completely and utterly changes my approach to footy.
Yeah, it changes our life.
I will you end up putting the feet up a bit, putting the sunnies on, and acting like a Geelong and Hawthorn supporter. Even some of my Richmond mates now, they're just like, fuck, I don't care, whatever. Like, it would be so beautiful to know that we've done it, we've lived it, we've breathed it, we've enjoyed the many months after it, let alone the week after it.
It's what we all want. And it's more for the generation up, like my old man and our old man, and that generation who have been going to the G for 40, 50 years and just haven't never seen it. So, and you can feel it in them as well. Like, Dad is so highly strung and just carries the weight of success, I think. But even though we got it 2021, I think everyone is still hanging out for that one.
Yeah.
We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but, we're doing everything we can. In this last sort of third of the season, we've done everything we can. And I reckon we might look back, if we do end up making a granny and, God help us winning it, we'll look back to that bracket of games between, St Kilda, just getting over the line, doing the job there, into Brisbane, into Adelaide, and then who knows what will happen from here out. But it's so exciting again.
Yeah, it just feels different this year already compared to last year. I think we've talked about it in previous episodes, but we were in like a little bit of denial, saying, "Oh no, we still finished second," but it's not the same feeling. Like, I genuinely do have that sort of 2021 feeling at the moment. Like, I feel like we're really finishing strong and the right things are happening. Like, I know Petty got injured, but like Clayton Oliver coming back is huge. Bailey Fritsch looks like he's not too far away, hopefully. And then, like, if we get him in for, a first final or even in the last round.
They're saying round 24.
Yeah. I've got some good news on that. Yeah, round 24.
So that's huge. Like, that completely changes our forward line again. Like, he's a huge weapon for us.
Massive.
Like, kick 6 in a granny. So
people forget as well that coming into this season, the only player to not kick the most goals, I'm not even saying it properly, but he'd kicked the second most goals in the last 2 seasons, in 2021 and 22 combined, of any player in the league. The only person that had kicked more goals combined was Tom Hawkins.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
He's a star. It's just because he's not like the big,
He's our best forward.
Yeah, he's our best forward. And then, so obviously, Petty going down, especially with his form, like, it does sting, but it's not the end. Like, we've got Cattle coming back in, and we've got, as I said, the luxury of track to go forward, maybe spend more time. If Clary's completely fit, then we have so many options and we become unpredictable.
Yeah, definitely. The Harrison Petty conversation ever since he went down with the injury on the weekend was like really interesting for me, because I've now come around to the idea that I think we're completely overthinking it. We're all freaking out for no reason. And the reason I say that is because even if it ends up being a Brodie Grundy who's come back in this week, and we'll go to the team shortly,
Huge.
or it ends up being a Tom McDonald who plays at Casey this weekend, maybe he kicks a few goals, maybe he's ready to come back into the team next week and he can stake a claim. I just feel like our forward mix and our makeup, a lot of it's just going to be built around ground ball and pressure and bringing it to ground. So no matter what key forward it is, because we genuinely do have to take care of JVR, we have to protect him. We can't put him in a situation where he's taking the number one defender and he's doing the bulk of the resting ruck duties.
Yeah.
I don't like that, because suddenly Jacob Van Rooyen has become so important. Like, as soon as Harrison Petty went down, all of this pressure and this burden got deferred to Van Rooyen. And it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. And this is a second-year player. So Melbourne need to manufacture a way in which we protect him, because he's going to be crucial now. And I think no matter which competitor it is or which forward that comes into the mix and the makeup, and we like having that second tall or that first tall, and then JVR gets the second defender, just compete. Just bring the ball to ground. Just compete. Do your role. And then our busy, small, medium brigade will get involved. Like we've seen Chandler, Neil Bull and Cozzy, when Fritter gets back, when the ball hits the deck, especially those first three I reel off, because Fritter will be underdone when he gets in, like they're bees to a honeypot seeking that ball out, winning ground balls all of a sudden. And track as well is another great example of a player that can elevate our game to a whole new level in the forward half. So I'm not as concerned as I probably sounded on the Monday podcast, just because it was a day after we'd lost Harrison Petty and he was in great form. I think when you get to finals, it's a different beast. It's get it forward at all costs and get numbers to the ball.
I mean, if your glass half full, you're looking at this situation as being an opportunity for someone else to come into the team. So think about Tom McDonald, Brodie Grundy, who's come in this week, even Ben Brown once he gets his knee right. Like, they're all probably going to be like, hang on, there's a final spot on the line here. I need to do everything I can. So there's going to be that hunger. But if you think about the best defences in the comp, there's not really many defences that have two monsters back there who are just going to be bigger and stronger than everyone. Most of them have got a really big defender. Like Brisbane's got Harris Andrews, Collingwood's got Darcy Moore. They're both big, really good defenders. But then they sort of drop down to your Murphys and whoever else they've got back in the Brisbane backline. But so I don't think you necessarily need to have two massive forwards like a Cameron and Hawkins set up. I reckon if you've got one big forward like we do in JVR, and then a really mobile, medium-sized, pacey, plucky forward line, you can win a flag like that. Yeah. And the best example, I think, was, if I think back to Brisbane's early team, they had, I think, Jonathan Brown was 20 years old when he won his first flag. He was so young, and he was playing that sort of centre-half forward role. And then they had like a Lynch and Bradshaw as well. Bradshaw was a bit smaller. Lynch was probably on the large size, but Brown was much bigger than both of them. But I've just got this feeling that JVR could be like it's a huge call, but a Jonathan Brown, like, who's 20, he's playing a great team full of a great midfield. And if he wins a flag this year, like, he could be anything.
Well, he's definitely not scared. Like,
he doesn't. He's the same competitive sort of nature.
He looks competitive. Like, he's fine. And as you said, like, there's players like Christian Petracca, play him. I would prefer to see JVR go at the start centre half forward and just create options and then clear space. And then whoever is one out, like if Track is one out in the square, he's like Dusty now. So it's like him in a one-on-one, he's most likely going to win the ball.
Yeah.
It's funny how those Dusty comparisons were popping up a few years ago. And now if you're an opposition fan and you hear that,
him.
Well, you agree with it now.
Yeah.
Like, it's true. It's real. Like, it's actually happened that Christian Petracca has morphed into a Dusty type player. It's just mental to think about.
And hopefully we get the other one. Harley Reid.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, if we're gonna, we could win the flag and get Harley.
Yeah, Freo. Fuck, it's been going well for us. So team news. So Brodie Grundy is in, and he's very topical, as we know. Clayton Oliver, who we spoke about for probably 15 minutes, which is fair. Probably should do another 5 on him. And then Harrison Petty goes out injured. So sad for him. God, he was looking good. And then James Harmes omitted, and Michael Hibbard has been omitted as the sub. So just on the sub, our emergencies are Harmes, Spargo, Hibbard, Shaki. I think Hibbard will just get the vest again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hibbo was good when he came on sub last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
So-
goes just the gun. Like,
But
I'd-
you know what could happen? They could eventually flip him and Smith. I reckon Smith's playing for his spot.
definitely.
So if he doesn't have a good game, then maybe next week it'll be Hibbo on. And because I think Smith is, as Nugget said, he's a super sub. He's a really good
I think
option.
Joel Smith will eventually go back to sub during finals.
Because he can
no
play
matter
both
what.
ends,
Yeah.
right? Like Hibbo, you can't throw Hibbo
Yeah,
forward.
he's a great sub.
Yeah.
He's a perfect sub.
Oh, he's the best sub ever.
So
Yeah.
can we touch on Grundy then? Because it's
Have to.
obviously been massive for him going out, and the media's loving it. They're saying he's not a forward. He's going back to work on his forward craft. Which look, everyone knows he's not a forward. He's a number 1 ruck.
Yeah.
But I reckon the coaching staff have said, well, if there was ever a better chance, I don't know what it was. This is it. But there's no Tom McDonald. I think Tom McDonald's still too fresh. He's going back to the VFL.
Yeah.
Brown's out. Petty's out. It's like, well, but imagine if he takes 5 contested marks and kicks 3 goals.
Yeah.
What that's going to do.
But
I don't think he will, but just imagine if he did.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I reckon my worry, and it's probably going to be the same as lots of Melbourne supporters, is that Max is in such good form, and I don't want this to sort of mix it up again, and they're sharing the ruck, and
I
then he
don't
doesn't
think
have the same
he'll
impact.
just do the
If-
part-time
If
ruck.
anything, I would almost prefer Grundy to play more ruck time and put Max forward a bit more. Like, Max actually can take big grabs and kick goals.
Nah, well, we tried it and it didn't work. Like, it just
But
didn't
that's
work.
that's why I hope that I ate my words next week, but I'm not massive on the Grundy in. I would have preferred.
Well,
to-
I'm not massive on it either. But
I think it's a last chance, though.
take it. I think you got to take a look at it.
Yeah.
I'm more in the camp of Joel Smith potentially playing forward, and I would have brought Adam Tomlinson back into the team to play in defence to free up a May or a Lever. I think it's different knowing that Mackay's not there. We probably don't have to do it against Carlton this week. If Harry Mackay was there, I think we probably would have gone with that approach.
Yeah.
With Grundy, I reckon it's so simple. Here's your chance to go and win a flag. Like, I'm not saying we're going to win it.
And does Wiedering take him? Like, does he take the best defender, or will JVR take the best defender? Because remember, McGovern's out as well, so he's probably their second best defender.
Yeah,
so
I
who's
thi-
playing on him?
I think you're trying to manufacture
and then chuck
a
Jack in there.
matchup where it's Caleb Marchbank goes to JVR.
Marchbank is no good. I watched him last week. He is a liability.
Yeah, so Marchbank goes to JVR, and you want to manufacture that matchup where it's Wiedering and Grundy. I really worry about Grundy's athleticism coming up against Wiedering. Like, he's a smooth mover, that
Yeah,
boy.
but if you can just take Wiedering out of it,
Yes.
that's the main thing. Like, just make a contest, and then Wiedering, whatever, like, just literally bring it to ground, and then you've got Cozzy and you said your Chandlers and
Well,
so on.
there's a case for Jake Melksham actually doing the defensive role on Wiedering because he's done it on bigger bodies before.
He sort of plays as a tall, really. Like, he's got a great grab.
Awesome. And he did a great job on
Is that
Harris
forward line,
Andrews. I think our forward line has improved considerably in the last 5-6 weeks. Like, I start looking at it now on paper going, yeah, it's good. Like, it can score. I think Track's had a big say in that. I almost as well think that the competitive nature of the forwards and them just sparking up, like, Track could be a huge part of that. Because the best thing I heard on the weekend, I didn't realise this until I think it was Tuesday, and I would have loved to have brought it up on the Monday pod. I'll bring it up on this one. Did you see Track interviewed after the game with Nick Del Santo?
No.
On Fox
Oh,
Footy?
is this when he said we were soft?
Yeah. Mate, it was awesome.
As in, Track said
The first quarter
Melbourne
we were
was
soft.
soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said we were soft, and he was like, we weren't cracking in. Those are his words, word
Yeah.
for word. It was awesome. And I think Christian Petrarca going into that forward line, if you're with Track, a leader and a potential captain of the club
He's the
in the
next
future
Skip,
years,
surely.
probably.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in there in the forward line with him, like, you're accountable. Like, you need to fucking hit hard.
Yeah.
And I reckon he's not only has he hit the scoreboard and he's got goal assist galore and he's such a freak, I actually reckon the standards have risen because he doesn't stand for second best. And the guy's a bull. So I think Track even said it this week. He wants to continue playing more forward.
Yeah.
So Clary coming in and that luxury of being able to, I don't know, go track 70-30 instead of a 50-50, like that's enormous for us because you look at Carlton, it's not even Carlton, you look at any team in the comp, good luck against Christian Petrarca.
Yeah.
But why not make it 50-50? Like, I
we
reckon he
can.
was close to 50-50
It probably
last
will be.
month, and
Yeah.
he's still going to get you 25 touches and probably kick 4 goals.
Yeah.
Like, the bloke's a freak.
Did you see that stat on him as well? Like, the last 23 of 24 games where he's kicked 2 goals or more, we've won each game. So
there you go.
if he kicks 2 goals, we've got a 95% chance of winning.
It's crook. I just wanted to talk about Patrick Cripps as well. Gun, love him. The Clayton Oliver Cripps comparisons annoy me though. I think Clary's just a little bit above him.
He was a few years younger as well.
Yeah.
Cripps is a
He's a star.
superstar.
He's a freak. He's an absolute freak.
But
and
they're both very different. Like, I know they're both inside, but their game style is still different.
it is
Clary's
different.
very quick hands.
He's more
and-
explosive, Clary.
There was
Yeah.
some awful footage that Kingy put up on 360 last night. He's talking about in the first passage of clips, talking about Cripps not exiting clearances with any, I guess, oomph, and a lot of the work that he was doing in and under just being a bit blasé and just being a bit lazy. And then he runs through another
It's pretty rich.
passage of clips in this 7-game winning run that they're in of Cripps in the clinches. They're the fucking same. Like, there's no difference, but he changes his commentary in the next passage of clips and he's like, oh, look at him, bang, out the front, takes contact, clean, pure. And I'm like, I actually I rewound it and I watched it again and I looked at them and there was no difference.
He blows with the wind.
It's just, yeah,
Like,
it's just media.
Yeah, but it was just funny because I was like, he was clutching at straws. And the one thing is, like, Patrick Cripps, you've been great, but I genuinely do believe that the area that we can get them is in the middle because of guys like Viney and Brayshaw
Oliver.
and Oliver.
But-
all being in there. Like, Cripps this week is going to have to burden such a massive load because other blokes that are going to float through there, like, who have you got? You got...
Well, there's no Walsh, there's no Chera, there's no Kennedy.
Yeah, who are there?
Well, it's going to be...
They're their best 3.
Well, it's going to be Hewitt.
Midfielders outside of Cripps.
Hewitt's a good footballer, but I mean, I'm taking Brayshaw, Viney, and Oliver over
Paddy
him any
Dow.
day. Paddy Dow will have spurts through there, but I mean, again, if Trent Rivers runs through there, see you, mate. And then Sam Doherty, who's a fine footballer and apparently a great person, by all reports, and he's been through a lot. But like, good luck, man. Like, good luck. I think that's the area.
That's
And
where we'll win it.
Everyone talks about it all the time. They always say, oh, it's one in the middle. It's one in the middle. I think it is one in the middle when it comes to the big games and the best teams because typically they know how to score and typically they're very good defensively. Like, the hallmark of every really good side that gets to the pointy end is they're really good defensively. But where we're going to win it this weekend is Viney's in best career form. Brayshaw's rediscovered his 2018 form, and the GOAT comes back.
Yeah.
And they've got 3 of their best mids out. They'll be looking at that and going, we need to expose that this
And
week.
also just
100%.
on that as well, like, you'd be a little bit worried being Carlton here, like, just you saying what Chuck's comments were after the game. Like, if that's what he's saying to the media, saying we're soft, imagine what their reviews are like at the moment. So it'll be really interesting to see our first quarter.
Yeah.
Because I think they'll come out absolutely firing. Like, we're not a team, we're second on the ladder for a reason. And if we have that, and they'll be reviewing that first half against North, I'd be very, very surprised if we weren't going extremely hard and our pressure wasn't amazing in the first quarter, at least.
I am happy that Grundy's in for one sole reason as well. And I don't know if Brodie Grundy's going to be a part of our finals mix or our makeup. And probably most of me says no at this moment because he probably has to go out there and prove himself on the weekend. But De Koning and Pitnet hits hard. Like, he's a warrior. And I think Max coming up against those two recognised ruckmen, it's a good idea to probably protect him as well. So that's why I don't mind Grundy coming in and relieving him. And then the byproduct of that is, like, JVR doesn't have to get beaten up as much.
So what does it look like when, what we expect is that he's probably going to play around a role now in the next maybe 1 or 2 weeks before we get another viable option, i.e. Tom McDonald, or even Fritsch might come in and we just go the one tall. What does the ruck look like in those big finals against
one out?
Good ruckman. Do you just say, Max, you're one out all game and you're playing 90%? Like he does? Because that's when he plays his best.
That's where Tom McDonald can put his hand up again, though, as well. Like, if he gets through some of the VFL...
He could be Stephen Bradburying his way.
He would be...
Just honestly, he's been nowhere.
He would be pretty happy at the moment, I reckon. Like
Before he's even got back in.
He would know how... Like,
that's what I'm saying.
The position
there's
that he's in at the moment.
blokes that would be licking their lips about trying to get... Because there's a spot there. They've given Grundy the first option.
It's the same as Grundy,
first chance, yeah.
Like Grundy, to Tom McDonald... If Ben Brown gets his knee sorted and he comes back from it, he's only missing this week through knee soreness. If they can somehow drain the fluid out of it and get him going again, and just get him going again for a 5-week patch, like all of those guys, play your heart out, do your utmost, try and get into this team.
It's really the only spot,
Simple.
Isn't it, on the field, in our best 23 that is really up for grabs. I reckon we're very settled.
Maybe Hibbo.
Yeah,
well.
but even then...
Hibbo for like potentially like a Bowie could change.
No, I reckon it's this. I reckon it's Bowie stays, McVie stays, all those boys stay because they've been so good. It's James Jordan will go out.
Poor old Jimmy Jordan.
So Jimmy Jordan will go out. Hibbo or Smith will be the sub. And then you've got to, because you've clearly got to get Fritsch back into that lineup as well.
No, or Jordan could go out and then even Rivers could go up onto a wing or something, and then Hibbo just takes the back flank role.
Yeah. Hibbo's a finals footballer.
Yeah.
I reckon.
I
Like,
just
you
feel
love
there's
him
something
in your
about
team.
having him in the side that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
He's strong.
Confident.
He just gives 110% most contests.
He shuts down some big players as well.
Yeah, like against the Charlie Cameron in a final, you want him on him.
Yeah, exactly.
So this week, it's massive. It's big. It's bigger for them, but I think internally, if you're Melbourne and you're the playing group, you're the coaching staff, the carrot's there, second spot.
Yeah.
Home qualifying finals with a point to prove as well. Like we should have
It's
a chip.
flare in the nostrils.
Well, we should have a chip on our shoulder
Let's go.
about what happened last year because we only limped over the finishing line. Sam, you made a really good point before. We were 6-6 coming into the finals last year. If we had to win the next three, I think we're 10-2. So if we're 10-2 opposed to 6-6 last year, we're on an absolute tear. Like we can go and win this thing. And not only that, it would be 8 in a row before finals. And Sydney did that last year and got to a grand final and then got their pants pulled down, which I love.
Geelong didn't lose from round 7, I think. Yeah,
true.
Last week,
I think it was 15 in a row. But if we can do that and we can claim second spot, it's such a different proposition. Like it's got real flag vibes to it if we can do that.
We need to be pushing for second.
We have to, and that'd have to be the theme internally. Like that's what the group are looking for, and I hope the group
or first.
I hope the group want it more than us because we're sitting here going, oh yeah, we can probably afford to potentially lose this one. It's not the end of the world. We can still go and beat Hawthorn and finish 4th and play Collingwood in week 1, which is still a likely scenario if that happens. But like. You'd hope there's a real mongrel bastard and fire in the belly for the group to finish second.
Yeah, there would be, 100%.
And I don't want to, try and predict the future here, but and not focus on our teams, but just hypothetically, if Geelong beat Collingwood tomorrow night, and we beat Carlton, and there's one game between us, they've then got to play Brisbane the next week, and we've got Hawthorn. There's every chance if they lose Friday that the wheels might actually start coming off at Collingwood, and they play Brisbane, who might run on top of the ground at Marvel. Who knows?
They're good at Marvel.
Who knows? So my point is, there's still 3 weeks to play out, and it's going to be a ripping finish.
I do want to focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm very much
just keep winning. It's as simple as that. Yeah, just win. Like if we win against Carlton this week,
what would your confidence level be if we beat Carlton this week out of 10?
Probably a 9, because I'm still a little bit.
You were 10 last week.
but the North first half rattled me a little bit, but also
it annoyed me.
A lot comes down to the Swans. Like if the Swans are out of the finals race, like that game worries me more than this Carlton game. Like playing them on the SCG, especially if they're playing for a final, like they're not an easy team to beat.
And they're playing guns. Well. Yeah. On their home deck, they play that ground really well.
So we've just got to hope. I think Swans play Adelaide next week in Adelaide. We need Adelaide to just to win that because they're playing for finals Adelaide as well. And
You're going 3 weeks or 2 weeks ahead of time.
Oh, 1 week at a time, Naughtsie.
Nah, fuck that.
I'm trying to channel one. I'm trying to channel 1 week for the first time in my life.
No, we're looking ahead because this is what you do. It's like you would have been doing ladder predictors and
Oh,
stuff.
mate, Derek was doing a ladder predictor before.
Yeah.
You're
Like
doing
it's-
ladder
he-
predictors.
no,
I
he
lie
has
there
Saints-
thinking about if we win the flag and
Mate.
Petrarca wins the Brownlow, he's going to be a 2-time premiership player
Well, hang on,
and a Norm Smith medalist.
in Derek's first ladder predictor that I saw, he had Saints beating Richmond, which is a dir. Like, hopefully that happens for
Is
him.
that this week?
Yeah.
Well-
But then he had Saints beating Geelong and beating Brisbane at the Gabba.
Yeah,
I love it.
See,
Got
look,
him.
he's got his
He's
ladder
got the
predictors
stats up.
He's got him finishing 5th. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh
I don't mind
God.
it, Derek.
That's confidence.
Believe. See, they're another club I want to see get there eventually.
So who's
No.
he got? He's got us finishing 3rd there. We'd play Port. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
we play Port at the G.
I reckon we just go for
Oh, no.
first.
He got us finishing 3rd, Derek.
But how good is this, like,
Fuck.
talking through these scenarios? And just that's the thing I was getting frustrated by during the year about
Yes.
Melbourne supporters online who weren't happy about. And it's like every year, the last 3 years, we're going to finish top 4 again. Yeah. Like, no matter what happens, you know that you got a team that are really good, but they have a crack. Yes, we're not going to be perfect throughout, but it's just so good having a team that is a really competitive top line team.
And we've got, as we said, good players coming back. Clary, Fritsch soon. Like, we're shaping up very nicely.
Yeah, and I just want to parlay into
parlay.
Sam's point there before we wrap up and do predictions. It's incredible what we're going through at the moment as supporters. I hope we don't look back on this in years to come and just realise that we didn't enjoy it enough.
Yeah.
There's a stat, I need to get it and figure it out, but it's something like this. We've been in the top 4 for 64 of the past 66 rounds.
Yeah.
It's wild. We're playing great footy. We've got some great players, some legends of the club running around the red and blue at the moment. Like, we need to relish all of these occasions. We're in so many big games every week. We've got teams coming after us. We've got opposition fans that want to ridicule us. Like, we're in a position that once upon a time didn't ever seem conceivable. Like, it didn't feel like we're ever going to get to this point. So I just took a moment the other day to be like, everyone's building up this Carlton Melbourne game on Saturday, saying it could be one of the great games of the season. And I'm like, how fucking good is this? Like, this couldn't be better.
Yeah.
Like, we've been in the doldrums. We've experienced misery like no other. Carlton can probably, empathise with us. But, like, it's been a real journey to get to this point for us to win finals. 2018 was incredible, regardless of the prelim. Like, those elimination finals, the semi-final against Hawthorn, the elim against Geelong were just amazing. To go through what we had to go through in 2017 to just miss out as well was heartbreaking. Like,
I just
it
realised
doesn't.
that the 20...
This is incredible where we are.
18.
was the last final wins that we would have seen.
Yes.
2020 we didn't make it.
No. 19.
Yeah, 19
No.
we didn't make it.
17th.
Yeah, 20, and then
That's
21
fucked. I
was
haven't
overseas.
thought of
So we actually haven't seen a final.
we've actually
a
copped
win
it. Yeah.
since 2018.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's 5 years since anyone in Melbourne is, unless you're lucky enough to somehow have moved to
Marco.
WA in 2021.
That's a great way of looking at it.
Didn't think of that.
That should encourage all Melbourne supporters to, especially in the last month, get there.
5 years.
Like this is we're gonna be playing finals again, and let's hope we play them at the MCG. But if we do, like, get there and force, because just remember though that feeling of beating Geelong and
amazing.
Hawthorn in those 2018 finals is unbelievable.
5 years. We haven't seen a finals win.
Yeah.
That's a drought.
Yeah.
That's
So,
an actual drought in the flesh.
I
If you
reckon it's
weren't there.
changing. It's changing this year.
So what crowd are we expecting? Do you know what they're expecting?
I've
Saturday
actually,
night?
I've been lucky enough to get a forecast sent through from an anonymous source, and it was about 60, 61.
Okay.
However, I think it changes. Because the Matildas are going to
Matildas,
be on the
yeah.
big screen.
Yeah. I reckon we'll get 70.
So if the Matildas are on the big screen, I reckon that could potentially
That's surprising because it's
tip in
Carlton
another
home,
5.
Is it
Carlton
our home
home
ground?
game. No, it's a Carlton home game as well.
There
home
haven't
game,
been
sorry.
big crowds, so this is one of the strangest fixtures I've seen. So I went on Demonland this week and someone posted that the crowd figures for Carlton Melbourne are like weirdly small. The biggest ever home and away crowd we've had is about 60, 61
Yeah.
for these two
I think
teams.
this is the biggest game between these two clubs in.
Since the qualifying final?
a long, long time.
Since the qualifying final in 2000?
I'd imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think this is absolutely massive.
It's big. It's huge for both clubs.
Yeah.
So
I reckon because Matilda's on the big screen, I reckon that might
I'm feeling 70.
get another 5 to 10. So I reckon it might be 70 as well.
The one thing we haven't mentioned before we wrap up is the weather.
Yes.
Because it looks like it could be wet.
Yeah.
Just,
What is it?
An interesting
So-
call.
What is it, Jane Bunn?
it's meant to be, so I'm just bringing it up now, late.
Thanks, Jane.
So 1 to 5 mil, cloudy, very high chance of showers.
When?
Again,
It just
Grundy,
doesn't
weird
say.
call.
So look, let's hope it's not wet all game.
Maybe that changes
Let's
our
just
stub.
hope it dries out a bit before the bounce a bit, because that's actually with us a big factor.
They're not good in the wet either.
Yeah, okay.
No,
That'll help me sleep tonight.
Yeah.
I love what Max said, though. You brought it up in an interview the other week and said we're no good in the wet, and it's something we're working on. Because when it got wet in the Richmond game, and Richmond are the wet weather specialists, I know it wasn't wet for long, but Max said it was good that we worked through that period of when it was
Anyway,
wet.
you can never really fully trust Bomb, so it's probably going to be sunny.
Yeah.
No. God, and it's been a while for me to get back to the G. So I haven't been back since the Brisbane game.
Same here. I haven't been for ages.
And I'm so pumped. I cannot wait to be there. One of my favourite things on the planet is to watch Clayton Oliver play footy at the MCG. So it's going to be awesome. And I'm just going to take it all in. I'm not nervous for this one. I'm just like, let's just get to the ground, get behind the Matildas. They are awesome. So I've been lucky enough with the work I did in a previous life to interview quite a few of them. I interviewed Sam Kerr as well, the superstar. And they're a great group, lovely group. They're very humble and they're doing some amazing things. And they deserve to be in the position that they're in because they've worked their socks off. So I find it funny when people are jumping on the bandwagon, but I don't care. Like, get on the bandwagon. It's awesome. But, like, these girls have been through a lot.
What were they paying before the tournament to win?
They would have been one of the favourites.
Oh, no, not one of the favourites.
You were saying France,
we
were they
would have
both?
been about $25. Like, we're ranked 10th in the world on the FIFA rankings. Like, we're a very good team. We're not a powerhouse. Like, we're not, like, France are really good who
So
we're coming
if
up
we were
against.
to advance to a semi, it's exceeding expectations.
Absolutely. Like, a semi's a huge
Without
result.
Kerr so far as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we might end up beating France, which is a tough task, but I reckon we might do it just because of the home crowd. But then there's a part of me that thinks that England in a semi is probably a bridge too far.
Jeez, how big would that be, especially on the back of the Ashes?
Yeah. No, it's massive. And I mean, the fanfare around women's football, it's been there for many years. This isn't flash in a pan. Like, women's football is very popular. It's a big sport. And I loved what Scotty sent me the other day. He's like, mate, they're more skilled than the A-League. And I'm like, yes, mate, they're freaks.
So where are they playing the next game? What
one-
venue?
I don't actually
it'd
know,
be great
to
to
be
see Kerr
Isn't it in
score.
Perth?
Is it in Perth?
Could be way off.
I've put you on the spot here.
No, that's
Naughtsie.
all right. I don't give. Let's have a look. We'll see where it is. But it's on the big screen, which is going to be crazy. But the only predicament about it being on the big screen is if it goes to extra time, because the game starts at 7:30. Our game being
Yeah.
Melbourne Carlton.
It's good for us. You keep all it's Carlton's home game, so they'll have all of their stuff on.
Yeah, but
that's
if it
true.
goes to extra time and
They'll
penalty,
just put it on the bar in the bars, and
they'll just have to turn it off. But
Yeah.
they'll be turning it off at like a critical time if it does.
hopefully we're 3-0 up at that point and won't matter.
Yeah. So, no, it's going to be very exciting. We'll get to predictions. Where is it? Oh, it's at Suncorp. It's at Lang Park. So that's awesome.
That was
Brisbane.
way off.
Way off. I didn't realise where it was either. I'll start. So, I just reckon it's going to be a really close game. Like some of these games have been in recent times. I've had a lot of close games with Carlton. And they're going to bring all sorts of heat because they live off pressure. It's their one wood. And they'll sustain it for almost the whole game. But if there's anything Melbourne are really good at, it's absorbing pressure. Like, we've proven that over the last 3 years. We're a very, very tough team, almost the toughest team in the comp, I would have thought. And I just reckon it'll come down to some cosy magic again.
Just good. Sub 10 points or
I think sub 10 points. I think we might get up by like 7 or 8 points and Cosy will break their hearts again.
wow. So I reckon I'm in two minds. I think if it's dry, I've just got this feeling that we've been in a lot of close games recently. We haven't we haven't played really 4 quarters for a while. I just think this is the sort of game that we know lots of eyeballs are watching. We get our best player, arguably our best player back.
Best player ever.
And I just think that this is probably going to be a statement game for us, and we'll be looking at it as a statement game. Obviously, we need to execute. So I've changed in the last hour. I think we could put a really good number on the board.
I agree.
Maybe win by 5 to 6 goals.
Whoa!
And really walk out of there and be happy as Larry and confident leading into the next.
Hang on,
6 weeks.
If we win by 5 to 6 goals, where's your Flago-meter? 10.
I think I said last week I'm a 9, so go to 9.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, just off the back of Track's comments, I think we're going to come out firing. The best player to ever walk on the MCG is coming back. Supremely confident, like almost disturbingly confident.
That's
Better than Gary Ablett Senior.
Yeah, the greatest ever player.
Better than Wayne. Better than Wayne Carey.
Yes.
Better than Lee Matthews.
He's the GOAT. How many times do I need to say it?
Mate, he's 26.
Yeah.
He's got half his career to go.
So anyway, the greatest ever is coming back, Derek. So yeah, I'm feeling an absolute smashing.
Better than Cal Morton.
Way better than Cal Morton. I reckon Cozzie's going to kick 14. I reckon Clary will probably get 6 as well. Like it's just going to be
Party.
An absolute party, and we'll win by maybe 220.
Did you?
I think that's my first 200.
Imagine if this ever, like, one of these actually comes true.
Did you see this game? Like, I reckon Jake Melksham's going to be really important, and he has been in recent weeks. Did you see that game in 18, round 9, when we won by 109 points? And I think it was Nuggets or Marker got the 109 tram back home.
Nuggets did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it wasn't even going really towards his house.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm just going to jump on the 109. Like, fuck it. Melksham he kicked 5 goals. He had 3 goal assists. He had 15 score involvements and 21
So Milkshake
touches.
could be...
Yeah, but the game he had last year was just, he had kick 4 and set up Cozzie's goal.
Milkshake
Kick 1
loves the Blues.
with 2 minutes to go or something. So
They've
don't have to go that far
referenced
back.
him on the forums. They're scared of him.
Yeah.
He's been super.
He's a good player.
Hopefully he can continue on.
I need to get off the forums. How fucking old am I?
We're going to go, boys. We've got a booking at the Hotel Collingwood.
We've got a booking down at Hotel Collingwood. But a big shout out to Castaway Studios as well.
Thanks,
course.
Derek.
Thanks, Derek.
Derek, he does some fine work. He works with a lot of celebrities as well, I must add.
Bigger than us? Or?
Oh, mate, some of the biggest.
Really?
Some of the biggest in sport, the biggest in Australian television. It's true. Derek works with them. So if you're a spud like us and you want a podcast, then he'll do a good job. Because if he's servicing celebs and big name talent, I mean, we're kitty litter. So he'll do a great job for you. Was that a good plug?
Excellent. Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Plug it.
Clary's
better than him.
oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Derek's
He was
just
all right.
referenced Tony Lockett for
Yeah.
anyone that didn't hear.
He said he could be better than Clary, which is a lie. But anyway.
All right, well, get down to the G, make it a cauldron, get around the Matildas.
Get
They're
there at
fantastic.
5.
We love them. And, man,
Let's do it.
if
Come
we
on.
fucking win this,
Yeah.
I'm at a 10.
1 week at a time, mate.
If we win, it could be tops off whole pod next week.
Yeah, going into Max Gorn's 200th.
Oh, that's almost button.
It's a Max. It's a Max Gorn special next week where we just talk. I reckon we just have to talk about Max the entire pod.
Top 5 games or something. Go through them.
The whole pod is Max.
Yeah.
We don't even talk about Hawthorn. We don't want to talk about Hawthorn
Kick
because
5
we
and
hate
prelim.
him. Yeah. All right, we'll leave it
Nice.
there. Thanks for
All right.
listening. Thanks for
See ya.
supporting the channel. Got some interviews lined up. Jeff White soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Who's a great man. Talk about his son, who's going father-son
Oh, wow.
as well. Kalani. Yep, he's not far off. I think not this year's draft, the next year, which is big for us.
Doing a bit of work in the mindfulness space at the moment.
Yes,
Jeff White,
absolutely. Always. But
Hopefully
yeah,
you fix me.
well, he needs to fix us all, I think.
Righto.
We'll get him on the pod, but get down to the G, be loud, be proud, and let's hope we get the chocolates.
Go D's.
Welcome back, Clary.
Go D's.
Welcome back, Clayton.
Oh, Clary.
Clary.